Hey, deckhands, ready for some non-nautical hullabaloo? 'Cause it's about time to get hype. Welcome to episode 3. To our visitors, thanks for stopping by, and a hearty welcome to our subscribers. We're glad to have you back. Before we begin, another word of recommendation for a couple of the fan communities that will be supporting our Fallout 4 endeavors in the coming months and years. First, the Tamriel Vault. Now, one of their goals is to host the best Fallout builds on the web. And I'm going to show my bias a bit here, but they've already got the best Skyrim builds on the web. So if you're into character building, they have you covered. Also, the explosively growing community at sugarbomb.com, an excellent place for connecting with a huge Fallout player base on a very stable forum platform. Check them out with the links in the description. Today we're going to be talking about the third huge change coming to the Fallout franchise in November, settlement crafting. We've got a surprisingly solid core of information about building settlements. We've seen examples of materials, hints at sizes, they've shown us locations, and told us some benefits. So let's dig into this and sort it out. Strangely, the first thing I wondered about with this system was about pre-existing player homes. This huge shift towards settlement building left it unclear if they'd have the same place in Fallout 4 that they had in 3 and New Vegas, with places like the Lucky 38 or the Megaton home. We did see the Red Rocket garage sort of home shown in the reveal trailer, and though it's not much, it's probably all the confirmation we're going to get. Like I've said in the past, it's not something that's ever really been advertised in previous games. It's just sort of there. I definitely want to see it return, because naturally not every character is going to want or be able to build their own home. But on to more of what we do know, starting with the construction system. I'm liking that it looks simple. You just deconstruct stuff. It just dissolves into its component parts. You don't have to monitor it, and it looks like you might not even have to carry it. You find a crafting element, deconstruct it, and it goes into a kind of universal workbench where the scrap is accessible at whatever your chosen construction site is. From there, you cobble together template parts based on the materials that you've got stored. Equally simple. It just appears. I wish IKEA went together that easily.
Bite me.
There's already pretty comprehensive lists of the currently revealed building elements too. I'll have a link to the full list in the description, but just have a look at these. We're clearly going to be collecting a pretty wide range of materials during our adventures, and it'll be cool to see what kinds of items and scrap have these components in them. That said, I'm not necessarily boxing my expectations into what was shown at E3 for one reason, and that was this scene here. On one level, this makes some sense. Maybe you put together something you didn't quite like, so being able to tear it down quickly is handy. On another level, you just undid a house. It seems like a little too much, and I wondered if it wasn't just put in to make a point during the presentation. I mean, what happens if you accidentally do that to the mansion you've been crafting for a couple of hours? Then again, maybe it's only something you can do to the pre-existing world elements, so your own constructions take a little bit more time and effort to take apart. Hard to say, actually impossible to say, but I don't think I'll mind if that's how it works in-game, as it does speed up the building process. It just felt a little bit abrupt. Probably the most interesting part about this system to me is the settlement defenses. We were shown 4 possible defenses in the E3 presentation: conventional and laser turrets, flamethrowers, and a mortar gun. On top of that, it looks as though the flamethrowers may have been connected to a laser tripwire. I am absolutely going to love booby-trapping my settlements, but I'll appreciate this feature even more if I can craft traps like these without having to build a settlement. Maybe my sole survivor is more like a lone wanderer with just a few isolated safe houses. Being able to set some basic traps around those would be great and extremely characterful. But there may not be a need, depending on how raider attacks function. Bethesda's been dead silent on that subject, so there's no knowing if raider attacks are going to be proportional to your settlement size or based on some other qualifiers. Before I sign off, I want to revisit the locations that they've confirmed where we'll be able to build some of these settlements. First, we have this almost hangar-like place, sort of built on stilts. You can see some additional buildings underneath it, but not clearly enough to guess what they are. Interesting about this place is if you look at the background, it seems to be built into the hills a little bit. Second, we've got this beachside location. That'll be a cool place to build just for the views. I'm curious if building against the coast like that will help us narrow our defenses to just 3 sides, or if this settlement would be in danger from creature attacks from the water. This is my favorite prospect so far. This looks more like a full-fledged settlement, but in a treehouse form. Something like this seems like it would be a lot of fun for a sniper character. Here we see the Sanctuary Hills area that was featured in the demo. Maybe you'll be able to repair your old pre-war home, or tear it down and build a new one. This area also seems to be quite close to Vault 111, so it'll probably be the first one that we encounter. This area seems built closer to an urban environment than some of the others. You can see cars littering the space around it, there's a towering building off in the distance, and here in the foreground on the left, it looks like this place might be built around or in front of some old factory. Now this location might not look like much, but there's plenty of questions to ask about this contraption in the middle. An advanced power generator for the settlement, maybe a type of defensive structure, a teleporter? I can't wait to find out. Here is another of my favorites. This place looks fully enclosed and very defensible. I'm curious to know if something like this is on the small end or the large end of the spectrum for settlement sizes. Finally, a daytime look at some of the verticality we can expect from settlements. Now, I imagine that those stairs and platforms are all player built, and this bodes really well for tailoring your settlements to your character type. If you're something more heavy weapons oriented, then maybe your base will be closer to the ground. If you're a ranged expert, then something like this will probably meet your needs better. So what did you all think? What has you the most hyped about settlement building? What do you hope is included in the base game, and what would you like to see added later down the road? Tell us down in the comments. I hope this video showed you something new, and if you enjoyed it, please do like and subscribe, and tune in next week for more Get Hype. This is Daft Pirate, signing off.
Bring out me heart into home.